Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles! Resolve. In the last episode, we showed that Kazuma is kind of involved in this case, and that he was on the SS Grouse. And then Judge Strongheart decided to have a little recess, because the security of Judge Jigoku, which was the mark of the assassination, was on the SS Grouse. And, well, things took a turn for something very special because, well, through that rabbit that Iris gave us, we established contact with Mr. Sholmes. And now we're here at the SS Grouse as Professor Mikotoba. And our assistant, actually we are the assistant, but our assistant in this investigation is Mr. Sholmes. So that's very cool, and we're gonna start right away with investigating this particular area. So let's get going.
That's another first-class cabin, and yet its door is completely unguarded.
Empty as well. I had a quick look inside earlier. Though I confess, I didn't investigate the wardrobe. There may very well be a young Japanese fellow inside, perspiring merrily.
If you're referring to Naruhodo, you know very well that he is currently perspiring merrily in court.
Does it not strike you though, Mikotoba? Why the man stands guard only in front of this cabin when both are apparently vacant?
Uh-huh. What about this bell here?
This would appear to an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it.
Oh, okay, we could set it off, but we're not going to for the time being because I want to check out everything first.
No, I think not. That would never work, surely. I need to concoct another distraction.
Well, we can for sure concoct a but just by the way, this should be, yeah, this is the same artwork as from the first game in the second case, which was Unspeckled Band, the Adventure of the Unspeckled Band or something, or Unspeckled Banter, something like that. So this is pretty much a recycled version of that, but that's okay. I mean, a little throwback, no, never hurt anybody, right?
This must be a mousetrap, I think. Perhaps I could distract the crewman's attention with this somehow.
Leave it alone for the time being.
No, I think not. That would never work, surely. I need to concoct another distraction.
So we are supposed to concoct a contraption, huh?
He's like a Nile Temple Guardian statue, this fellow, the way he's glaring at us so fiercely. Tell me, why are he standing guard here if the cabin is unoccupied?
Because this area is only for first-class passengers. We must look out for suspicious criminals.
He was looking straight at me when he said that.
My dear fellow, as you can plainly see, we are quite unsuspicious as criminals go.
But still criminals.
No, for goodness sake, Sean.
No. For goodness sake, Sholmes. Tell the man, we're neither suspicious nor criminals.
Ah, yes, quite right, Mikotoba. Curses, this seaman is far too able for his own good. Be extremely careful in what you say.
One of us ought to be, yes.
Okay, alright. So, what else do we have here, huh? Ah, there's something else too.
Ah, the switch for the electrical lights. Perhaps if I were to turn off the lights, the crewmen wouldn't be able to see what we were doing.
No, leave it alone for the time being because we want to have a look at everything.
No, I think not. That would never work, surely. I need to concoct another distraction.
Okay, what about this?
That's a speaking tube for members of the crew to communicate with one another around the ship. If I could just persuade our stocky sailor friend that he needed to use it, Sholmes could unlock the door whilst he was distracted. The question is, how?
Okay. What about the door?
That's the way back to the deck, but we certainly can't give up on this now.
Okay. Alright, so we had everything here. So what is our plan then, though? I guess... You know what? I'm gonna give it Let's try the alarm bell first. We had this dialogue already, so set it off.
Here goes then. Pardon me in advance.
You! What are you doing? If we were at sea, that would be very bad problem.
What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganov, report at once.
Sorry, sir, nothing to report. It was just stupid trick. No, not by me, by world famous. No, as I told you.
Now, Sholmes, now!
Done.
Not even 5 seconds, huh?
Well, don't stand there gawping at my brilliance, Mikotoba. Here we go.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that doesn't really make sense because when the alarm turns off, Straganov is just going to come and get us in here. But, okay, fine, I guess.
3rd November, SS Grouse, first class cabin number 2. Good gracious.
It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly.
Those clothes on the floor there, they're Seishiro's without question.
Well, it seems we are just a little too late.
Yes, by about 2 hours.
Still, whilst we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may be well 2 hours worth of clues to find in here. But that burly crewman may return,
at any moment, Sholmes.
Indeed he may, which makes this all the more thrilling.
Okay, sure. So time to investigate, I guess. So let's start with the wardrobe.
According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Asuku's wardrobe.
Indeed he was, and it was a similar size to this one. Ah, you must climb inside yourself, my dear fellow.
What? Whatever for?
It was the site of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go, this will only take a moment.
Really, Sholmes, surely you can just tell me what you said.
Well, I uttered some brilliant remark and opened the wardrobe to reveal the stowaway murderer.
I think I'll just read about it in The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes.
Okay. This seems peculiar. Let's see what this is.
There's a speaking tube here, look, though it's been stopped with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose.
Or indeed so that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere.
Could something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, do you think?
Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering.
That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it?
What about the tea set here?
Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here how it...
Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trailed off.
Ice, Mikotoba, ice. What opulence the first-class passengers enjoy. Chilled drinks.
Pardon?
Could it be that this steamship is equipped with an electrical refrigerated cold room, do you think?
Well, it is a luxury liner after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world.
Suddenly, Mikotoba. The sight of you is making my mouth water.
I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know.
What about the basket? This waste paper basket.
Look, this is the waste paper basket. Look, and there's still rubbish inside.
Indeed? Then let us pry. I've discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets.
I sincerely hope only for your work.
Ah. Here we have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago.
3 days ago? The night before we arrived in London, then. When I was still aboard myself.
Evacuation drill notice, 31st October, following departure from the port of Dunkirk. Come on.
Oh yes, there was an evacuation drill, I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew, so it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once.
The evacuation drill itinerary has been entered in the court record. Notice about a practice evacuation to be carried out by the crew of the SS Grouse. The night before the ship arrived in Dover, it was found in Judge Jigoku's cabin. Now do we have a... No, we don't have a court record. I would like to check that out. Oh, okay. So let's have a look at the warning sign.
These are the rules of the passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and or travel cases.
I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination.
What about the fact that they're not straight on the wall? Does not that strike you?
You may be right. Probably just your imagination, though. A trifle. And you know what I always say, Mikotoba? There is nothing important about trifles.
It's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off.
Okay. So what about Judge Jigoku's clothes?
That's a substantial heap of clothes on the floor. An overcoat, shirts, a dressing gown.
Momohiki work trousers, a tanzen robe, a haramaki waistband, clearly the clothing of a Japanese man.
And clearly Japanese men are unaccustomed to the culture of the wardrobe.
It looks to me as if they've been thrown in a heap like that. It's in something of a hurry.
Indeed, you could help yourself to a Japanese man's shirt, perhaps. I'm sure you made mention of packing too few.
I'd very likely drown in one of Seishiro's shirts. No, I'll just buy buy any extras I need, I think.
Okay, nothing peculiar about that. What about the shelf?
Plenty of reading material to keep passengers occupied on long sea voyages. I found the mixture of classic literature and easy reading to be most satisfactory, I must say.
Sir, whoever stocked this bookcase was a hopeless heretic. There's no copy of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, my dear fellows.
I'm afraid it's just me, but no, you're quite right. More blasphemous than overlooking the Bible.
I shall leave a copy behind. I just happen to have one with me.
You're a true missionary of the Church of the Great Detectives, aren't you?
Cool. Alright, so this has been taken off. But we're gonna have a look at the suitcase first.
That's
a very sizable trunk indeed.
Seishiro is partial to all things large.
And a rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he'd left that behind.
Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape.
Pity it's locked, so we can't look inside.
Surely 5 seconds from now the situation will be quite different, though.
Sadly not, it is a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present.
Okay, so we have to figure out the combination, it seems.
The wall is slightly different color just here, do you see?
Indeed, what you have observed arises when a frame that has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief.
Now there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure.
He may very well be the elusive thief who has been plaguing France's galleries of late.
I think perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall. I feel as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere.
Uh-oh.
You are still here?
Able Seaman Stroganoff, hello again?
I was beginning to think you'd never materialize.
You are waiting for me?
Of course I was expecting to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity fuss soon.
I was in trouble with Captain because of trick you played before.
Poor innocent chicken.
It is all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off now.
Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow. But first, there is something that must be done.
What are you talking about?
Why, naturally, the debunking of your deceit and the bearing of the truth.
Kakoi?
I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jigoku has not yet left this vessel at all.
Oh!
And for another, my dear Seaman Stroganoff. You know exactly where the man is even as we speak, don't you?
How can you?
Good gracious, Sholmes, you mean you've worked it out? All of it?
It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. So, would you care to join me for a dance of my inimitable logic and reasoning?
Oh, we gotta dance with Mr. Schultz. All right, let's go.
Nothing would please me more.
But what is this?
We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. Time is of the essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago.
That is what I said.
Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it.
What?
Ah, yes, of course.
I see if you've noted it too, Mikotoba, then please do take the lead. What in this cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours ago? Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observation skills then, Mikotoba.
It's been 10 years since we last did this, Sholmes, not 3.
Why, of course it has, quite. Now, all the clues are here in this cabin for your eyes to see. But as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe and the answers become clear. So, impress me.
I think I can manage that. Well, it has to be this, right? Let's take that! Let's take that. Yeah, the glass containing ice.
Let's go, Professor Mikotoba.
Sorry guys, sorry. Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass.
How curious that the ice shouldn't have melted despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago.
Oh!
It would appear that the man was here in this very cabin until moments before our arrival. With this well-chilled glass in hand.
Get your mind off the refreshments, Sholmes.
One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff?
But why would Seishiro run from us?
Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accommodated on your voyage from Japan?
Oh, that's right. They are. I was in the cabin next door when Seishiro was, yes. 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage.
As I suspected. For you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide.
What traces?
I know nothing about this.
Oh, this is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganoff?
Sholmes, what exactly are you getting at?
As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure you won't have escaped your notice.
Something out of place in here. That's the key to this, Mikotoba.
That's the key to this, Mikotoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place in here and are being masked by something quite incongruous. I must say I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Mikotoba.
No, quite, but life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we well know. Now then, let's see if I can't uncover the truth here.
Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow.
Yeah, it must be the sign then, right? Oh, what is going on? Yeah, there we go.
Take that!
It's the rules of passage in this frame here. They're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall, as if they were put in there in a hurry.
Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded. This frame was originally over here. The shape and size are a perfect match.
Da, you are right. When did frame move?
Hardly the most observant of crewmen, are you, Mr. Stroganoff? I would think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability. Good!
Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve. So,
Mikotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall?
Aha! That looks like a bullet hole.
What?
What? Who has been shooting walls?
I see, the projectile has been removed. Clearly the crewful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff.
Oh!
I have the distinct impression that you're attempting to shield said occupant.
I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern stranger?
Ah, so we're talking about the same man, I see. Good.
Oh!
I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep up this pretense, as clearly shown by...
I really don't know how to approach this one, Charles.
Ah, my dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle, and I'm quite sure that you'll see it. In fact, I put a wager on it.
So I'm to glare at the fellow from all sides. Well, I can certainly do that. Well,
Take that!
Okay, word of banknotes. It's almost too obvious for words.
Quite the universal language of the world. Money.
Oh! And I'd wager that the Eastern fellow in question is Seishiro Jigoku, yes?
Go!
So I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice.
But...
I believe you know, Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Mr. Jigoku is hiding at this precise moment in time. As always, Mikotoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally.
Yes, I think you're onto something there, Sholmes. You found the chink in this burly fellow's armor.
We need only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding.
Well, it should be the wardrobe, right?
The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minutely delayed blink, nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible.
You could hardly call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man's turned his entire head. It's not exactly what you'd describe as furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious.
We shall let your tapping toes decide, my dear fellow.
So it is the
Take that!
No, it's not the wardrobe. Oh, okay.
Mikotoba, no games now were my words, were they not?
Come, Sholmes, where's the fun in life without a little fooling around, huh?
Quite right you are.
That was a close shave. I better rethink that before I'm the fool here. So you really think he's hiding in here as we speak?
Curled up in a ball at this very moment. But as I said earlier, we've no time for games today.
No, I quite understand. I'll make this as quick as I can. Seaman Stroganoff will be suffering neck fatigue before long, I should think.
Alright, so it is actually... Okay, I should have thought about this better. So, it is the large trunk, of course.
You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you?
Oh!
The truth is, Seishiro Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is, at this very moment, doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk.
If he still has a breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air. I imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible.
But how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code.
The combination lock can't be opened from inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure.
Of course.
In short, before Jigoku hid himself inside that trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the lock. As I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganoff.
No, I know nothing about combination code.
Don't move a muscle, my good seaman.
Huh?
Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk?
How on earth do you expect me?
It's a 7-digit number, remember? Quickly now, we have little time.
Okay, wait a second. It was the tattoo, the Shorm's tattoo, and that should be. Wait a second. So this is supposed to be a 5, right? Because yeah, this is a 5, so this should be an H. So it's a 4, right? 0 is right already, so this should be a 7. No, we don't have a 7, so it's a 1. So this should be a 3. Wait a second. This should be an E. But it should also be a 3 then. And this is another 5, right? But it wasn't like that. So 5, 4, 0, 1, 3. But that's not a 2. 5 4s. So 5, 3, 1, 0, 4, 5. But this is not a 3, right? This is a 2, isn't it? Okay. So this should be a 2. Oops. And let's go. Okay, we were correct. Click.
That did it. It's open. You had to meddle, didn't you? Well, Eugen, you found me now. Seishiro. I was really hoping beyond hope not to find you here, you know.
Well, guys, we did it. We found Judge Jigoku. At least he's safe. But we are reaching the half-hour mark quite quickly, so therefore, if you want to know what Judge Jigoku has to say to us, you'll have to tune in next time for the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
Resolve. See you then.